with Allah, what is the process? What is a real solid tawbah that I can feel comfortable knowing that I've done it properly?
Yeah, so the steps are actually fairly straightforward, very simple, and very much in line with, again, going back to what we saw in the story of Adam and Eve. And Allah taught us through this story and keeps reminding us through the Quran that this is the process you follow. And of course, we have the guidance and the teachings of our Prophet ﷺ, and in many, many narrations and prescriptions that he's given us. But essentially, it starts with sincerity. You gotta want to do it. It's gotta come from us. Adam alayhi salam turned to Allah. He felt that remorse in his heart immediately. They knew, both of them knew immediately that Adam and Eve, that, okay, this was wrong. And we clearly disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to know it, first is to know it, to acknowledge it to yourself that I've done something wrong, and have that intention and sincerity that I want to fix it with Allah. I want to, and to the best of my ability, I'm going to be sincere. And you start with that. You believe that Allah will forgive you. This is the trust and tawakkul and the faith that we have, and it's part of the teachings. Again, we said that Tawbah is part of our belief system, and it's a very critical cornerstone in what our creedal beliefs our aqidah is. And so, believing that Allah has put us here with the intention that we have this purpose of working through life as a test, but then ultimately we are going to make mistakes, and that ultimately Allah wants us to turn back to Him. And we have that beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that if you weren't to do that, Allah would will replace you with people who will err, who will sin, and then seek forgiveness. It's beautiful to Him. He loves that we turn back to Him. So believe that Allah will forgive you, and then work with that certainty. Not that I'm counting on my deeds, but that I'm counting on the mercy of Allah, that I'm counting on the fact that Allah has told me that if I'm sincere, this is what's going to happen. And then you actually verbalize this. You put it into action practically. So all of that I described before was really something going on within us, right? Others can't see it. It's within me. It's a state of my heart. And that's the purification of the heart, the skia part of it. And then we actually verbalize that. So there are words we use, whether it's of course, there's the prescriptions given to us by the Prophet ﷺ to say astaghfirullah, the actual seeking of forgiveness, and the manner in which he did it that's taught to us is the optimal way. Where he said, I seek forgiveness 100 times a day in one narration. And he's the best of us, the best of creation. So if, surely what one could say, well, why is he doing that? One might ask and say, well, this is because we want to make it habitual. We want to make it something that for the things that it'll help us to even, just try to better ourselves, even minimize those sins the best we can. And so we keep on verbalizing it, and then we put it into action. So whatever it was that was the misdeed, correct it. Don't repeat it. Try to avoid it. And have that, again, we end with going back to the heart, where have the resolve to not repeat that again to the best of your ability. And when it involves other people, as you've mentioned already, then make amends. Because again, as we said, it's the rights of that person upon us that wherever possible, to the best of our ability, it's our duty to try. So if you owe somebody something, if it's something tangible, if it's just an apology, if it's whatever it is, make amends, try to make it right. And if that's no longer possible, they're no longer reachable for some reason, they're no longer in this world, then at least make dua for them. Do something to kind of compensate. And of course,
give charity,
give charity, and seek Allah's forgiveness, and make dua for them. That's a really appropriate way as well, and actually, try to rectify it.
On that point, Sister Roohi, like if you're on the receiving end of an evil, like if someone is asking you to forgive them, like you haven't wronged them, they've wronged you. There's a specific verse that rings true for me, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Like, yes. Let them forgive, let them pardon. So, do you not wish that Allah forgives you? So, like, it's a direct correlation between you accepting someone's apology and Allah forgiving you. It's the other way around as well.
Absolutely. And that is something that, and it comes up a lot, that verse is often used in a way that is a powerful reminder really to us that ultimately it's about each individual's connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we're not responsible for the deeds of the other individual, but to the extent that we just have to think, what's my standing before Allah and how am I going to better that standing? And I can never be as merciful as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but if I can show, and we're always trying to emulate those beautiful attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as we learn his names and attributes. And so mercy, showing mercy to one another is a sure path towards attaining the pleasure of Allah and his mercy upon us and his forgiveness. So yes, beautifully said. Yeah, we absolutely want to be inclined to that and make that process easy for that other person. And inshallah, that will settle the score here, because we don't want it settled on the Day of Judgment, which is what is the other option for that, which is, taking any kind of wrong or injustice. And really, again, points to the beauty and perfection of our religion, that ultimate justice is there. So for those who are wronged, who don't, get their vindication in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised you that on the Day of Judgment, it will be taken care of. And so that's the hope and mercy for those people. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair.